tell a story about the time because I've told it on podcast before. I want to hear your take on it because it was you and me in the ring together, and we always enjoyed working together. We knew each other since when you came into WCW. Hell, I guess I was there first, and then you guys came in, you and Stevie Ray. But we enjoyed working with each other. But one time we was working, it was WWE or WWF back in the day.
Yep.
And man, we had just started working, and man, you knocked the dog shit out of me. And I was always real patient with sending receipts because, I was just like, okay, dude's off. And I like to work snug anyway. But, man, you hit me so damn hard. I said, no, man. I said, I got to send back a receipt now. So what happened that night? You tell a story. Well, I've told it too many times.
The way I remember that story is we got one more we got to talk about, too, as far as when I first got in the WWF. We got to talk about that story. But, what I remember about the night that I whacked you, I'm known to, be snug. I'm known to be a little, I wouldn't say stiff or anything, but I'm one of those. I'm old school. If you hit a guy in the lip and you bust his lip, that's just part of the business. But normally that's in the exchange. That's normally when you guys are going at it, not when things just get started. But I don't know. Maybe I was wound up, but I do remember hitting you and blood came out of your lip, and I go, oh shit. I ain't mean to do that. That's what I'm saying in my mind, But in my mind as well, I'm knowing that I'm going to get a receipt back, somewhere in this match. And the thing is, what I remember that night, you was really, really passive as far as getting that receipt back. But the receipt I remember getting back was a stomp right to the face when I was laying down on the ground, and it was a stiff shot right to the nose. And the thing is, I felt like I deserved that. You know what I mean? It didn't bust me up or anything, but it was a stiff shot, and it was it was purposely done. Now, in business, a man can only respect that. You know what I mean? That's the way I remember that going. Now, should I have been, in the back, waiting on you behind the curtain for that stiff shot? No, because I delivered the stiff shot first, and the receipt was there given. So I understand that. I totally understand that. But young guys need to understand that when you out there performing, that this is not a day in the park, man. It's about, especially when you're on TV, you got to go out there and lay those shots in. You got to go out there and whack that guy. Sometimes it do get a little testy, and guys want to get a little rowdy with each other. And I always said, hey, that's good for TV. Go out there and let all of that hang out. If I need to bring you back, I'll bring you back. And I think that's something you and I both brought to the table.
It's funny because the business of pro wrestling is such a work. A lot of people you were there. I think you were there when Sean, maybe it's before you came in, when Sean and Brett were kind of working an angle, and there was a lot of heat between those guys.
Yeah.
And I think they was fixing to do that 60-minute Broadway or whatever it was, Iron Man match. But all of a sudden people think, oh, man, these two guys are mad at each other. It's going to be a hell of a match. Dude, when two people are really mad at each other and shoot heat, normally the match ain't that good because both guys don't want to really cooperate with each other.
Yeah.
It's got to be a total work in there, and sometimes things can go bad. Sometimes you can get a shot or a receipt or stuff like that, but man, you got to maintain your composure because like you said, it is what it is. It's very physical. It ain't ballet. You're always trying to protect the business, even though the business is a known work. But when two guys in there and they're really mad at each other, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a great match.
Being really mad at each other is one thing, but do you agree with me or not? Every time I had to go out and perform at a very high level with a guy, no matter whether he was my best friend or not, when I walked out of that curtain, I really wanted to whoop his ass. In an entertaining from an entertaining perspective. But I really wanted to go out and whoop his ass, and the camera needed to see that in order to be able to understand what was getting ready to happen. I don't know. A lot of times I could see when guys getting ready to go out and have a match, when getting ready to go out and perform and play wrestler, and for me, coming out of the curtain, that moment in time was frozen because I really believed in what I was getting ready to go out there and do.
Dude, I agree with you 100%. When I was out there, it didn't matter whether it's promo, whether it was a match, and this was the interesting thing. And I don't know how long it took for you to really find yourself as a character and a character that you totally believed in. It took me a while because I remember, in USWA and even in world class and world championship wrestling in Atlanta, I was Steve Austin. I was stunning Steve Austin, but I didn't really know what that meant. All of a sudden, when I kind of started getting up, I come up with that Stone Cold idea, and I turned into Stone Cold, and I started growing into that character. And I was the BMF, and I believed that I could beat anybody's ass. I believed it was 120% shoot. Now I was working, but I believed it, and that to me is for me because I remember one time we was riding down the road. Primetime Brian Lee was in the back. I was driving. Tom Pritchard was riding shotgun, and he said, "Steve." He goes, "What's so stunning about stunning Steve?" And I didn't have an answer for him. And he said, "Prime time." He goes, "What's so prime time about Brian Lee?" He didn't have an answer. But as Stone Cold, I had that answer. And the comfort to perform within that character, I was way better in that ring when I was Stone Cold than trying to be something else because my mindset, my belief system was so that's all that existed. It was a total shoot for me.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to come up with that same type of presentation or mindset?
I'm gonna tell you, man, those karate movies that I watched from when I was a kid, man, I always had that one mindset because of the boss. In all of those karate movies, that I watched, the boss was, he was badass, and every time someone tested the boss, he showed how real he had to be with those guys. All those, Shaft movies I watched, you know what I mean? Richard Roundtree was badass, man. You know what I mean? He didn't take no shit off nobody, and I wanted to be like Shaft. I mean, that's what Can You Dig It Sucker came from. Me watching those movies, and just for me, I always knew my role. When I remember Big Van Vader, God rest his soul. My first pay-per-view in WCW, it was my first pay-per-view. I'm in the main event, and Big Van Vader, he asked me, "Hey, man, you think you really ready for this?" And he was shooting. He was really shooting because I was green, and I go, "Hell yeah, I'm ready for this, man. I've been training for this. This is a moment that I've been relishing for a long time." But I knew what my job was that night was to go out there and bump for all of those old guys, make them look good, make them shine like new money. And then when I get in the back, they go say, "Kid, you did a good job." You know what I mean? So I was trained to know what the test was in order to go out there and pass the test. Even when I first got into WCW.
Well, from watching the movies that you watched, we're going to get to some MMA in just a second, but watching the movies that you were watching, working with Scott Casey and Ivan Putski, who was a showman, like, who stressed to you that you need to be strong as a character, not just a worker going through the motions, that character, because I believe that going through the motions is one thing, but when you have that all-encompassing character that people can buy into, when you combine all those things, I think that's when you draw money and you sell tickets.
Steve, I think that's the reason why I'm still here today. I think that's why I'm still, relevant, because, I think as yourself, it's never really been about me along this journey. I mean, of course, I've been reaping the benefits of it, but it's always been about getting the script. I mean, how many characters have you been? And every time you got the script, you went out there and tried to make it the best you possibly could. And when Stone Cold Steve Austin came, that's the one that stuck, of course. But all the time getting to that point, you made it the best you possibly could along the way. So for me, getting the role, man, and taking that role and enhancing that role and making it, what I wanted it to be, no matter what it was. It was G.I. Bro. I was G.I. Bro back in the day. And Dallas Page, he told a story, I was listening to him, and he goes, he came by and he saw me in the mirror and he goes, "Man, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Man, I used to work for a living, man. You know what I mean? I used to have nothing. And now I'm doing something, I'm having fun." So My brother told me, my brother Stevie, he said, man, I'm going to help you get a job. He said, and the only thing I'm asking you to do, man, is, don't make me look bad, man. He said, man, just do the job to the best of your ability. I don't care if it's sweeping floors. I don't care if it's washing windows. He said, man, just do the job to the best of your ability to what next comes along. And he said, if you could do that, man, I'm going to help you. That's what he told me when I came home from prison. And I believe in that to this day, man. Every script that I've gotten, I just went out and did the job. Becoming the world champion, that's not something that I went home and dreamed about or anything. I just wanted to go out and be the best guy on the card each and every night, whether I was or not. Whether I was top 5, in the business or not. You know what I mean? I was going to try to make it, look that way. I was going to try to feel that way each and every time I went out and performed, no matter what the role was, man. Every time they gave me something, Booker T and Gold Dust, I wanted to go out there and make it the best that it was and entertain the fans to the utmost that I possibly could.